Yo, so what's going on, Battlefielders? My name is Pwnstar, and this is the debut video for Gun of the Week for Battlefield 3. What you're seeing on your screen right now is the loadout chosen by this guy, and he chose the AK-74m in the Assault class. What we have equipped on this bad boy is the Kobra red dot sight, the Foregrip, and the Suppressor attachments. He also asked to put the G18 suppressed on the hip, which is a little bit more stealth than I'm accustomed to, and guaranteed medic packs, because he knows damn well that Pwn likes to get his M26 dart on. So he set up a nice little setup right here. It was very, very unique. I was kind of skeptical about it because anytime you put a suppressor on a weapon, I feel that you can be risking and potentially hurting the potential of that weapon. So overall, I want to give you my personal opinion on this week's Gun of the Week, this setup, this loadout that he recommended to us. And I want to thank you guys for checking this out. I will be doing this on a weekly thing. The way you guys can vote to see more loadouts is simply putting a comment down below. And in that comment, just say, hey, Pwn, I want to see you use the M40 with the default iron sights and only the suppressor. And the reason I'm not going to set it so that it's only up to voting or the one that gets the most likes is because I know every one of these loadouts will turn into a troll loadout, and we already have poopy gun loadout guys. So I'd like to see some loadouts that you think would be great or possibly underrated, overpowered, and I could dissect them a little bit. So make sure you put a couple down in there. Patty cake! And we are back on track. Now let's talk about this gun a little bit. The AK-74m, in my opinion, is definitely one of the more underrated weapons in the category. You're in the assault category where, in my opinion, the three best guns in the game are located. You have the M416, the M16, and the AEK, which are probably the most used weapons. I think out of those weapons, that's 90% of the weapons right there. Any lobby at any given time generally has most of the people using those three weapons right there. I'm not saying they're overused. I'm not saying they're sluts, but they have had more balls in their mouth than the Hungry Hungry Hippos. Ooh, burn. I know, right? I had to use that, guys. Speaking of using that, this class is recommendable. I absolutely love this class. At first, I was like, I don't know about the suppressor. And it's up and down, you know. Some people are like, oh, don't use the foregrip, you ruin weapons. Honestly, my experience with using the foregrip, it usually does not alter the performance of a weapon too much. So, it's one of those attachments that, before a couple patches back, it really did kind of influence them. But lately, I mean, I sometimes just put on the foregrip just because I want something in that slot. I don't want it to be so naked. And I just have to honestly put that out there. A lot of people, they get mad at people using the foregrip, and I just think it's something you could put on there. But overall, this loadout, I'd probably give it a B+. I'd probably give this loadout an 8 out of 10. And the reason for being, I think when you don't have the heavy barrel on this gun, you're limiting it a little bit. There are a couple other attachments that you can put on there. I do prefer the Kobra red dot sight, so I was happy with that. And that comes down to just personal preference. But with the loadout itself, it was definitely a little bit more reliable than expected. As you can tell right there, this gun is not a reliable weapon in long range. But I do take a moment here soon where I do kind of adjust myself to use the weapon in the situations that it's provided. I put it into single shot. I get the patty cakes out. I try to use this class properly. And having a gun like this in a class where you have the strongest weapons definitely does not give this one the glory or attention it deserves. Like if this gun was in the engineer class, this would be the best gun in the engineer class, in my opinion. If this gun was in any other class, it would be one of the best guns in the class. But simply because it is in the assault class with the three strongest weapons in the game, definitely takes away the appeal of this weapon. So if you're looking to impress yourself, I'm a kind of guy that does not like using the M416 simply because I don't feel like I'm doing anything special with it, and I don't feel like you have to limit or hinder yourself to be skillful or anything like that. I just don't get reward out of killing somebody with the strongest guns in the game. And it's just my opinion. We're all entitled to our own. But overall, this class was really, really reliable. I like the suppression factor. You can see there's going to be a lot of times where I kill guys and the enemies don't know where I am. So I guess understanding that this gun is not bad at medium and long range, and understanding the fact that it is as well a reliable close range weapon, the fact that you put the suppressor on it basically says, hey, we're going to cut down the distance ability, your comfort level of killing people across the map, but we're going to give you the secret advantage of getting behind people, killing people without being seen. And I think that's a reasonable sacrifice in certain situations. Now, what I don't approve of in this loadout is the fact that you put the G18 on the hip. I do love the G18. I love the G18 suppressed. But I don't see the purpose in having a suppressed secondary when you have a suppressed primary. It kind of defeats the purpose, especially with the G18, because when the G18 is suppressed, you actually make each bullet weaker, which is a big, big limit towards what it is. Now, if I'm using like a shotgun or a very, very audible weapon, I love using the G18 suppressed. You never know when you get behind two guys and you just need to drop them. And if you do that with the G18, for example, you can whip that out really quick, drop two guys, no one will ever know where you killed them from. If it's at the end of the hallway or what's going on, you're not going to show up. So just do that. I mean, that's the importance of having a suppressed weapon, is trying to not be noticed when you're killing people. I mean, it's hard for them to hear, let alone see you on the radar, so it's a sneaky way to play it. So I don't really approve of the secondary that he put in there. Not saying the gun's bad, I'm just saying with this loadout, it wasn't worth it. He stuck me with the medic packs. I can't complain about that because obviously it helps my team out. I threw a few down and did my role. But again, this gun deserves a little bit more recognition than it has. I mean, it honestly is one of the best guns in the game. But like I said, next to the other sluts of the category, it doesn't get the attention it deserves. You know, it's just very, very underrated. And I don't like that. I mean, that's why I like to use it, though, is because it's still solid, still reliable. But at the same time, I don't think it borders that OP level where I get uncomfortable using it. You know, a lot of times I find myself in, you know, try-hard lobbies where everybody's using the M16, AEK, M416. And the only way to counter that, the only way to combat that is to actually equip the same thing. You know, fight fire with fire. But if I'm in my casual lobby, people are using this and there, you know, if there's always going to be a couple of those guys that use that stuff. But if I find people using some of the average weapons, you know, PKP, so on and so forth, then I definitely like using this when I use the assault loadout. Like I said, the foregrip is an opinion. It's a preference. I can't recommend it for any weapon because I honestly don't think it influences or impacts a weapon enough to use it. So overall, the suppression actually turned out to be reliable. I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted it on it, but you could tell exactly how useful it was in this gameplay. How many times I flanked the enemy, how many times I killed the enemies without them knowing what was going on, got the comfortable reload in, and really started to do work behind the enemy spawn. And that's what really helped me. So in my honest opinion, had I had the heavy barrel, I don't think I would have had as successful of a score as I did. I think I ended up 40-5. And I think most of that is stacked up to the fact that not only is this gun a reliable weapon, if you're ever in a long-range situation, you know the suppressor affects a little bit of this and that. You obviously have suppression as a factor in the video game. If you're ever in long-range situations, put the gun to single shot. I did it a couple times in this game, mainly because I don't want to waste the ammo, and even more so the fact that you're probably only going to get 4 or 5 bullets synced in, rather than just, you know, fast spamming the single shot. It may take 10, 12 bullets to kill a guy, but at the end of the day, I mean, you still saved half your mag, and you still could have killed the guy. Right there, for example, that guy should have been dead a long time ago. Had I single shot that, I might have been able to take him out. But I was just extremely confident in the weapon. Like I said, it does have its problems. I mean, having the suppressor on and some of the attachments involved in here did affect it. But look at the recoil there. Look at that. There was virtually no recoil. I was able to maintain that gun perfectly, which is still something that you can say comfortably about what's going on. So it's great in close range, great in medium range, kind of iffy in long range. Again, if you're looking for long range, you could always just slap a heavy barrel on it. But this loadout itself is definitely one I would recommend. It surprised me. There aren't too many guns, you know. The M16 isn't what it used to be with the suppressor, so this is probably going to be one of my loadouts. I want to thank the guy that submitted this. Like I said, if you guys want to send some of your own in, go ahead and do so, Girl Scouts. Send something down below. Just say a comment, whatever gun you want to do. Remember to leave a like and favorite on the video. It really helps out. There's a lot of time and editing that go into these, and I really wanted to get this show off to a good start. I'll also be doing a Gun of the Week for Call of Duty and Medal of Honor Warfighter, so look out for those as well, guys. Peace out, guys. Get it.